Hello, welcome to the Year 2 podcast. Today we're going to have an interview with a dear friend of mine. His name is Kamau Abayomi. He's a multidisciplined artist, he's a poet, he's a rapper, he's a music producer, he sings, he's a very good writer, he's a prolific writer. I've read one of his books, I've read his poetry book as well. Very well versed and very well structured, and he conveys so much wisdom with the words that he uses. He hosts events, he has exhibitions, the guy is so full of energy. He's a Qi-Jong Master, I think it's a form of meditative martial arts, and he's a well-traveled individual. He has so much wisdom, and we're going to talk to him about personal power and how he's been able to accomplish all the things he's accomplished and what motivates him to keep going. We had to pre-record the interview and then do the podcast after that. So, stay tuned. I hope you like this impromptu interview. I mean, it just happened today because he just walked in to the office, and I was contemplating doing a Zoom call with someone else, and he just popped in, and I was like, well, you're here anyway, so might as well take the first guest I can. And I did an impromptu interview with him with regards to what I want to talk about today, which is personal power. So first we'll go through the interview, and then we'll catch the rest of this on the back end. So see you later.
Yo, you see, these dreams only seem to manifest when I'm woke. I'll bite the wings off an angel if that shit helps me cope. But on this downhill stream where we tumble and roll, it seems I only find solace in a couple of folks. Yeah, man, I'm grown now. I'm trying to move.
This has been one of those impromptu moments, one of those moments that you sit down and you reflect on how magical they are. I was sitting down here setting up office, and guess who walked in through the door? A very good friend, somebody that I admire very much, someone who I believe is one of them geniuses that stay hidden, and we hope to get him out there. He's a poet, he's a writer, he's a Qi-Jong Master, he's an instructor, he's a spiritual, he's everything all in one, but he's very humble, he's multi-talented, and he's truly an amazing fellow, somebody that I've been dying to sit down and have this kind of conversation with. And so we're heavily privileged today to have in our presence Kamau Abayomi.
Hey.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the camera.
Yeah. We have this funny setup here. So we have cameras in different directions. So yeah, you'd have to bear with us.
Yeah.
So today I was talking about personal power, using your personal power in order to elevate yourself. And this was supposed to be the topic for the day. And just like magic, you walk through the door. And there is no greater manifestation of a person who uses their personal power to accomplish and overcome situations than you. So if you can, please give us a brief intro of your entire repertoire. And then, well, I know it will take a long time. It will take a long time, but just condense it a little bit to those things that are significant to what we're talking about. And then also tell us how you use your personal power in order to transform and overcome.
Well, first, thank you. And it's always a pleasure to sit with you.
Yeah.
We didn't talk many times, but never just let's go in on this right here. We can go off on a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. Personal power and its expression, it doesn't happen until it's explored. Like, we can feel that we have the power to do certain things, and I know many people do that. But until it's allowed free expression where it can explore where it wants to go, it's difficult to let it out. So I was blessed to, have an environment where that was supported. So I could, when I was really young, I loved to paint and draw. So my mother made sure that, I had the tools in order to do that.
Yeah.
So she could take me anywhere and just put me in a corner. I'm gonna be good. I wasn't one of those act up, knock over everything, hella loud kids. I was quiet anyway. But she could take me anywhere because she knew as long as I put some pens and some paper in this child's hand, he gonna be right there. I don't care, for 3 hours. You gonna see him just going at it.
Yeah.
So, I grew up in an environment because my parents were into the arts, so they allowed me my full range to express that aspect to myself. And in doing that, that's where a lot of our personal power comes from, our ability to create our own reality, as they say.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, create it in a way that is truly creative, like fully having fun and allowing what goes on in our mental space, in our heart space, to just come out. And in doing that over time, we start to know where our power is and how our power affects our environment. So, like, and I'm sure you've seen some good, powerful art and just been like, it just shifts your whole framework of how you perceive certain things, and that's the power of art. So, and it doesn't have to always be in a creative sense in terms of expressive arts like dancing or painting. It doesn't have to be. It could be in multiple ways. Like, for example, to open a business, you got to be creative. You're going to do it successfully.
Yes.
Period. But you're still tapping into that same power source. It's just manifesting in this way. So as long as a person is allowing themselves to explore their range of how their creativity wants to flow, and doing it without the editor, the restriction, without thinking about, this person, what do they think, but letting them, that full energy come forward, you're tapping into your creative power, and it's going to come out.
Yeah, I remember when I first read your book, and the book I pestered you so much to finish.
Yeah.
And at the end of the book, I felt like it was the beginning of a new reality, because I was looking forward to the book. I had read the book, but it finished with a beginning.
Right.
It ended with a beginning, and I incorporated that into my book, or I'd incorporated that into my book, where at the last chapter in my book was really the beginning. But I'd never been in a situation where I had taken in something that was fictional and felt like I was transported to another place. And at that place I'd been transported to, I'd been observing a lot of things. But now I'm waking up in this other place hoping that things would start again. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
For sure. I mean, it's a constant. It's like when you play a video game, right? It's just levels.
Yeah.
It's just levels. You beat one level, you start at the beginning of the next level of things, right? And that's a constant. You feel me? So, like with that book, that was even just the book itself. And once again, thank you for kicking my ass to finish it. Well, that's just one aspect of expression that got completed, right?
Yes.
And with that, there's energy and power generated. That
Yeah.
Now, energy can go wherever one wants to direct it. So for me, directing that energy, I can't remember, what did I do right after that book was finished? Something happened where, it was good because I do performance aspects where presenting performance arts.
Yes.
Bringing in choreography for things, bringing in other singers, poets, so on and so forth. Just keeping that energy going and allowing its free reign. As opposed to, all right, now this is done, stop.
Yeah.
Or this is done and I have to keep only right here.
Yeah, that's the thing about that. It's not only just multidiscipline. I think it has to do with the kind of freedom to express yourself using multiple formats. Like I remember you had one beautiful talk show that I actually stood up on stage and I talked on, where we were discussing things to do with racism. This was back in the book. And I remember one of the first performances I saw you do, one of your rap performances, which was on Oberoi. This was way back in 2007.
Yeah.
And I just remember when you took the mic, and Solomon was there, if I remember. You took the mic, and then literally the whole house just blew up when you started dropping your lyrics, and everybody was like, why aren't we signing, or why isn't somebody signing this guy? Why aren't you doing some kind of a larger performance? And I've seen you perform a few times. How do you keep that consistency of excellence? How do you maintain it? What do you do in order to focus your mind? I guess maybe that's wrong, saying focus your mind. In order to actually explode in the moment. Because you're different when I'm sitting down talking to you. You're a different person from when you're on stage. Totally different, in my opinion. I mean, on stage you're like a beast. You just.
Well, I asked the question: Is the still leg different from a tidal wave?
No.
It's the same water.
Yeah.
Just in a different form and a different form of expression. So, focusing is a part of it. Focusing the mind is a part of it. Being able to, allow all the stuff that comes into our mind just from our daily lives, from advertisements, from people, all that stuff goes in, and it needs to go out in order for one to tap into one's own creative power to focus it in a proper way.
Yeah.
So, and here's where, things that have greatly and vastly improved my life, like Qi-Jong meditation, help to do that. It helped to center and focus the mind. So when it's time to direct the energy, it can direct in a certain way without being scattered in all directions. And so, but a big part of keeping the projects or not even just projects, because I'm creating regardless if it's a project or not, but to keep that energy flowing is experiencing life to a greater degree. So like the more, and I'm doing a 2-day workshop next week on writing and these things, and one of the primary things that I impart in these different workshops is that you don't sit down and just try to tap into techniques and then write a poem or something like that, or write a story or a song or whatever it is. You live life first.
Yes.
You live life. You expand your perception of life. You look at things from different angles. You meet different types of people. You have conversations. You be quiet and observe. You listen, right?
Yes.
You sit and you listen and you observe life. Then you write. Because when you do that first, then when it's time to bring yourself into the creative space, whether it's on a paper, whether it's in a booth, whether it's through dance, then it's gonna come out easier because you got a wealth of experience that you've cultivated.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You can tap into that and then bring that into the art. So
Absolutely.
I'm constantly living life in multiple ways. I navigate any world. I ain't got no fear of going to the gutter or going up into the mountains with the with the highlands.
Yes, I know that very well. All right. Now, is there any particular place, any website you have where we can actually see the body of work you've done, where people can actually come and buy some of the things that you have?
Not right now. It's going to be built very soon. So
But are there any other outlets where we can actually go that you can tell us right now where we can recommend, and would also put this in the show notes, like with the workshop that you're doing? If you give us further details, we'll put it in the show notes too.
Sure.
We would also put it on screen, so we can encourage more people to actually attend these seminars, to come and experience what you're giving them and what you're bringing, and because I've seen the transformation myself. And one of the things that I say when I do my podcast is I say everything that I talk about, everything that I recommend is something that I have done. I never recommend what I haven't done, and I wouldn't put my name in any way. I wouldn't associate myself with something that is not genuine.
Right.
I know the genuinity of your transformation. I've known you for 15 years now, thereabouts, and I've been a fan. I'm still a fan. I listen to your music in the car. I listen to I read your poetry in my house. I have all your books with me. I keep them at close proximity. One of the tracks that I hear is There's Something About You, Ladies. And that one, my son loves your songs. My boy. And my daughter loves your music. So you're a big part of my life, and I've always been. So to me, doing this is also expressing my own self too, because I feel that there's a connect. I mean, the fact that you came in here today like this and we set up this impromptu interview is already evidence of our connection. Because if there was no connection, we would not be able to vibe on this kind of level. So I hope that we can do something to help give all the events that you're doing more traction.
For sure.
So
when we come back for the part 2.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a part 2, probably a much longer part 2, because I know there's a time constraint here.
I gotta go.
Yeah. So,
but just right now, I'm just mostly utilizing Instagram for my works.
Yes.
And letting people know what I'm doing. I'm on Facebook, but I'm not on as much as anymore.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Kamau Abayomi. So
yes.
just my name.
Okay.
And,
so at Kamau Abayomi, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll also
I've
put a
been
link
painting
to
a
that.
lot. Like that's the thing. That's
Painting now.
Yeah. So like I said, when I was real young, that was my first thing.
Yes.
Oh, like man, like maybe 5 months ago, it turned on again. And I can't like. Right now, I'm gonna go before I go to my meeting. I gotta stop in this pen store to look at some paints and some calligraphy markers and stuff because that got activated again. I'm like literally every night, before I go to bed, I gotta do something on a canvas or on a paper. So.
Wow, is there anything that I'll be able to see soon?
On Instagram. Just
good.
I've been sharing some of them. I've done over the last 5 months. I've done 62 pieces.
Wow, we're actually going to. I'll try and get my graphics guys to put to show that, to do maybe a small reel of most of the paintings. Do they have
Not
names?
Most of them, nah. So I'm sharing some of them, but I'm gonna do an exhibition in like maybe about a month and a half or 2 months.
We'll definitely be looking forward to that.
Just giving people a little snippet. I ain't showing everything yet because it's gonna be for the exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. Yeah, people tend to duplicate stuff that are,
this they can't. There's too much going into it.
Okay.
This is something, but they can be inspired, and I'm down for inspiration.
Yeah.
This is some stuff they can't copy.
Yeah, good. At last, because that's always been a problem here. Well, I know there's time constraints. I know you have to leave, but believe me, this was truly a pleasure.
Sure.
Thank you so much for stopping by. We look forward to part 2. We'll set it up hopefully in the next week or so. We'll bring you back here and make sure the settings are a little bit more comfortable.
It's comfortable, this is very cheap.
And we look forward to having you back here.
For sure.
Thank you so much, Kamau Abayomi.
Something about you, lady. Clear through a day so crazy. Baby, you a fine line, walking no hasty. Patience with a feather on your crown, you place me in a situation where a puzzle with no name. Manifest the blessings of divine, growing pains. Beauty how you light when it's least expected. Only see the hearts of the beast rejected. Oshun give it flavors of the people accepted. A Facebook it, Twitter connected. A they took it, live it injected. You in the veins of mainstream collected. Change the mainstream addictions. Game that rains out prescriptions. Detox the thought box and listen. Rock and locked out the mission. Here we go. Something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. My heart on a scale opposite the feather. Still kinda heavy with unbalanced weather. But when I look in your eyes, you make me wanna achieve. I'm meditating on the life in the light, I deep breathe. Sight the deep seas, we dance the waves. And then we dive into the love that enhance the days, advance the stage. Your feathers are rougher, massage the essence. A niece and honeysuckle, buckle the belt, Orion overseas. Understand the signs that align with Giza. No believer, girl, you gave me the truth, gave me the roots. No chasing after spooks on some duck goose. This fuck, ooh, divine love on a Thursday. Jupiter sing, I can hear what the words say. Expanded sky blue like peas like zoo. Lead by Lakshmi, cause girl, you're true. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady.
The whole idea of this is how to overcome situations, how to come up with solutions that are going to lead us into a better future, how to take care of ourselves and our families and improve the quality of our lives. That's the reason why we're doing what we're doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's all about I don't use the word positivity, but it's all about positive feeling good about who we are. And like I said, and I would always say, one of the first things we all need to do in order to get to know ourselves better is stop telling ourselves lies. When we stop telling ourselves lies, we will be more open with ourselves and we will trust ourselves more. Hence, we'll be able to have more of ourselves revealed to us by our spirit man, stroke woman, or whichever persuasion that you choose to use in order to articulate yourself. We live in a world of severe confusion right now. There are about 19 sexual classifications, and not to mention racial classifications, which are drifting up towards the 23 number now. I think 23 or 24 different racial classifications in the world, where before we just had the basics. Now we have all kinds of variations, and so we drift into further confusion, where people are looking for a means of identifying themselves, and it just it gets more and more interesting. Well, like I said, today is not really about drifting into that world. I want us to focus more on solutions today. All right, so today we're going to talk about personal power. Apart from what I said, we're going to talk about personal power, the kind of power that we have individually, and how we're going to use that power in order to improve the quality of our lives, in order to improve the quality of our thoughts, and in order to improve the conversations that we have, the internal conversations that sort of like permeate our actions. Not sort of. The internal conversations permeate actions. I'm still getting used to this idea of talking in front of a camera, so you would have to bear with me and give me the chance to grow in my confidence doing this and make sure that I can inform you as best as I can with the information that I have. So I made some notes. Personal power. With regards to personal power, I guess the name is more or less saying what it is. Personal and power. The power is personal, which is my power, my individual power. But what kind of power are we talking about? Physical power? Maybe that's part of it. Mental power, spiritual power, perhaps all of the above. The culmination of all of these powers in order to form that which keeps me grounded, and that which allows me to expand my awareness and reinvent myself if the need calls for that, improve the quality of my character, and by doing so, improve the quality of the world that I exist in. So personal power is an important thing to think about, to contemplate on how best to use. For me, what I do is, I've said one of the things that I chose to do was stop telling myself lies. And when I stopped telling myself lies, I would always catch myself whenever I am procrastinating, or whenever I'm in denial, or whenever I'm putting that self-inflicting victimization mentality on, or whenever I am afraid of taking on a challenge, or whenever I have doubts about my own self-confidence. See, when I tell myself the truth, I can actually track all these things, and then I can make the necessary adjustments in order to feel more confident, in order to feel brave, in order to, amplify the courage that I have in order to take the next step. So, practical situations would be starting a business. I want to start a business, and I have the funds in order to have the initial capital in order to get the business off and running. But I choose to look for more situations to be verified before I start the business, when I can just start the business and then verify those situations. So I look at, have I got this done? Have I got that done? Have I got that done? And I'm expanding my checklist. In reality, I'm afraid. I'm procrastinating because I'm afraid. And so I tell myself, you know what? This is a gamble. I know. It is not guaranteed that I would succeed. I know. But at least I'll try. And when I try, whatever the outcome is, I'll learn from it and I'll move on. And that's a very, very basic example, but that's really how it is. It's really about taking that next step and not being overcautious about what you have or haven't done, but just believing that whatever happens in front, you'll be able to deal with it. And you take it as it comes. And it's the same thing with the world that we live in right now. So many things are very confusing. So many things are very scary. But ultimately, tomorrow is going to come. It doesn't matter what you do. Tomorrow will come. So you might as well just accept the fact that today is moving on, move on with it, and then whatever comes tomorrow, we deal with it then. So with personal power, you're able to readjust your thinking and reapply your enthusiasm in order to get the kind of result that you desire. That's why personal power is very important. Now, this is not very detailed and is not very scientific in terms of explanation, because I'm not giving you all the big worded postulations, if that word is applicable. But I'm giving you a practical example based on what I have done, because that practical example with regards to business is something that I've done. I've been through it one or two times, and even before I set up this podcast, I was going through the exact same thing. Oh, will people tune in? Oh, what would I say? I didn't sell that many books. I'm not that well known. And I had all of these things playing in my head, and I just, I just started it. I didn't care about all the other issues that would stop me from doing it. I just decided, this is something I want to do. This is something I feel like I should do. I want to be able to make some kind of contribution by offering the information that I have in my head, the experiences that I've had, observation and research, things that I can validate, bring about results, and then share that with people who want to listen. If I can help one person, that's one person I have helped, and that one person can help another one person, and by virtue of that, I've paid it forward. So it's not really about having everything consolidated before you start. It's about starting and then building. And it's the same thing with even the business that I have. When we started, it was next to nothing. It was just an idea. And now the business is relatively successful, and we have multiple outlets and so on and so forth. I tend not to bring the business into this too much, but just as a practical example. So, with regards to personal power, today, what I'm going to say and conclude on is the personal power, if you separate it from the belief in yourself, then it becomes more of an abstract issue that you want to grasp on the external. But the personal power, in my opinion, is on the internal. So it's the belief you have in yourself, and that belief is strengthened through honesty, self-honesty. If you keep that self-honesty going, I'm certain that you'll be able to expand the belief, expand the awareness, and expand the consciousness, the bravery, and you'll be able to overcome much more situations and take more risks with regards to reaffirming your position in the grand scheme of things. So, with that, I would draw a conclusion to today, and we have a quote for the day. I'm going to put it up, but I'll read it. I'm looking at it right now, and it's from Anthony Robbins, and it's probably it probably summarizes everything that we have just said. It says personal power is the ability to take action. That's it. Personal power is the ability to take action. Nice and simple. So that is from Anthony Robbins. We'll put it on screen so you can actually see it. I hope you have learned something. I hope I've given you some information that would be useful. I look forward to speaking to you another time. Please, if you enjoyed this video, or if you enjoy any videos that I do, please don't forget to click the like button. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think and make suggestions on what you believe we should do with regards to the format of the show. And if you have any questions, please send us your questions, and I would answer the questions that you have. Whatever comments you want to leave a comment, and click to subscribe subscribe and share. I think that's the only thing I can talk about. We don't do anything commercial on this channel. We don't do any adverts and all that. So it's just really about me and you. Just about me and you. Okay, so thank you again, and I wish you a lovely evening. Thank you.